Dave here, how are you? I started slightly differently today. I'm using the new MTR-18 and it's produced by TSO products. Now, basically it is a square, even though they call it a triangle. The MTR-18 triangle. CNC machined to tolerances of 0.001 of an inch, that's 1/1000th of an inch, over the 18 inches or 450 millimeters, which sounds pretty impressive to me. To give you a rough idea, over an 8-foot long sheet of plywood, that is 6/1000th of an inch. How accurate that is. All right, now you just saw me do a 60-degree cut. It is a perfect partner for the Stanton bench. Now, people that have been watching the channel will have been following the evolution of this bench. And to me, it seemed like the logical next step. Now, it has a few different things that you can do with it. I'll go through the product to start with. It has holes for regular polygons. A 45 degree where it's got an indent in this protractor. The 45 degree is for cutting for a square or four-sided regular polygon. The 60 degree is for a hexagon. 67.5 degree is for an octagon, and the 75 degree is for a dodecagon. That's a 12-sided regular figure. So these are ordinary things that a lot of people will want. So if you want to make something that's a regular sided polygon, this is handy. You'll notice also it has a little bolt sticking up here. That bolt is a T-bolt that's in this rebate. That rebate is on both sides of the square. This is a threaded brass nut that's also the locating pin that goes into there. It will also screw onto that T-bolt and lock the square in position whilst I get underneath and tighten those knobs up. You can see that there's some knobs under here. I'll undo them. These are speed knobs and they hold the dogs in position. Right, I'm taking those out. I'll show you the T-bolt to start with. There's the T-bolt. There's the little T-bolt. We are imperial on this side, inches, and on this side we are metric. Degrees is both imperial and metric. It doesn't make any difference. A degree is a degree. That's all there is to it. This little cursor, I'll bring it up close to the camera here. This little cursor here, there's no parallax error. It's right down hard on the etched surface of the square. The square is aluminium. It's extremely high-grade aluminium. All of these are etched. Listen. They're all etched. Those markings are etched into the surface. Everything else is machined by a CNC machine. I'm going to do a quick test, and I'm also going to display how accurate the Stanton bench is at the same time. I'm going to put a dog there, and I'm going to do an interesting test for square. I'm going to run this way. These two dogs are held securely. This held it securely as well. I'm going to slide this down until it hits that dog there. Now, the way I've did this bench with the UJK path guide system, it is 90 degrees, 90 degrees. So all of these dog holes across this way are going to be 45 degrees perfect. So watch this. Magic. Again. And then over here, I'm still holding on to it. Watch this. Beautiful. This one up here. Beautiful. Here's the test. Whilst that agrees with my bench, I'm going to flip the square over and go again. Pull it down to there. And then we're going to hold onto this and push this one down again. Nice. Look at that. Holding it down, it's on the cushion strip so it can't move. How's that? We have a 45 degree angle, 45 degree angle. This one is 90, has to be 90 because they're both 45. That is dead straight. It's a no-brainer. That is square. Perfect. And a square that isn't square is just a piece of metal. It's not, you throw it away or take it to the scrap. The bar here has got a counter bore. And so that can go down inside. It's going to be flush, so I can stand the square up on its edge. But let's pop this in. The Allen drives, or the hex wrench, whatever you want to call it, Allen screwdriver, does a nice job. It's also got 3 little spots there. See these here? Those guys there, you can put these machine screws in there, keep them out of the way, so you don't lose them. I'm not going to put the 3rd one in. I can push it up the edge of anything and mark a square line off, so it's holding onto the lip. It will also allow me to do a 45-degree line off there as well. Here, I'll stand it up. It'll stand upright. Now, you might turn around and say, oh, wow, that's a good one, Dave. Why am I worried about that? I can be assembling a cabinet and I can have the square sit inside there. Bring it up to it and hold it there whilst I'm screwing it together or putting it back on. It also comes with some pins that lock into the top, like that. Now, they can lock in anywhere, pretty much, around the square. It can go onto the 90 degrees or it can go onto the 45s. And again, I can slide over the edge, and I'm going to show you in a second how that is very handy for setting up the docking station. So if you've got an MFT-3 and you want to be able to line up, you put the pins here and here, this against your stop, and I don't think I have to tell you any more as to how easy that's going to be, because this is ever so slightly lower in thickness than the fence across the back of an MFT-3. They supply also some aluminium angles. Now, these aluminium angles are very handy if I want to screw them to the surface. Now, if I say I'm gluing or screwing with Kreg screws a box together or a drawer together, and I have these either side, I can clamp onto those. I can put my pieces of timber that I'm that I'm joining, and I can clamp over the top and hold the joint together with that. Yeah, I thought about telling you everything that's in the kit, and I thought, nah, look, if you like the look of the thing, you'll probably go and have a look at TSO's site and say, yeah, and you can work out for yourself what you want to get. So there we go. I now have a perfectly 90-degree clamping block. Brilliant. I love it. All right, next thing. And as I say, they give you these. These are really nice. They're a ball head or a dome head Allen key, but in a screwdriver form. These are a 20mm dog and what's called a speed knob. Speed knob's got an 8mm thread, and there's an 8mm thread in that dog. The T-bolt. This is the T-bolt here. I'm going to just put that on the surface and bring it down over the top. Bring the square over the top. Holding onto that because you don't want to lose it down a dog hole. And then we'll bring that to there, like so. I'm going to put the bar with the non-parallax error cursor on it over the top of that. I'm going to get one of the dogs, TSO dog, and another dog. I'm going to slide down there. Now this is going to then let me slide all the way around, and it's positive stop at the end. You don't have to guess. When it gets to the end of the travel on the protractor, it's perfectly 90 degrees from where it originated. Now, at the moment, it's pointing to 0 degrees, and that's because the saw is going to be traveling that direction if I was to cut, so that would be a rip. Now, it's very rare that you'd actually do that on a bench like this. When I swing it around this way, you can see 45 degrees, yes, 45 degrees. I can move the whole series along if I want to, but on this particular bench I don't have the holes there. I would then move it to this direction. Undo the dog from there with the speed knob. I love this bench. Don't run away. Gotcha. Take the dog up to the other end, put it there. Okay, they're in position. Now I can move this to there. Put these two guys on. Put the cursor on first. Put the dog in at the other side. And this fellow here. That across there. I could now do my cut down that way. I can come round, because I've got a longer distance now, I can put larger sheets in here. I can put a sheet in here, between there and there, just over 900 millimeters wide. Let's say I want to do 75 degrees. I bring it around to 75. I tighten up the TSO dogs, that little guy as well, so it's not going to go anywhere. Or I can undo that and drop it in the pinhole, and you can see it's indexing, but I wasn't quite right, was I? So I'll loosen that off a touch, loosen this off, and push it. Now I am dead on that regular shape. Because I have the cushion strip, I have no fear of that going anywhere to cut it. I can bring it across, and I think that might be about right. Let's get a track. I use these guide clips from UJK, and how we put those on is a whole lot easier than a lot of people think. You tip over sideways, like so, lower it down, and that's it. Don't try and drag them around the edge of the dog, because you're going to destroy them. There we go. That is now going to give me 75 degrees on the internal angle. Okay, it's an acute angle, 75. Here we go. Now, if you want to, there's nothing stopping you putting the speed knobs on the top if you want to access it from the top. Makes no difference really, except for you will not be able to get the index pin into the indexes that are already set, or the other side of it, of course, which is a nut that locks onto that T-bolt. I'm going to take it over and I'm going to show you how it works with the docking station. This is basically an MFT-3 without any dog holes. I use the MFT-3 rails and hinge accessory kit to be able to build this. I haven't done plans on it. Maybe one day I will. But let's get to the important part. If I try to push the MTR-18 up against the back and against here, I'm not going to hit it. Even if I drop it down as low as it'll go there, I'm going to hit the front, but I'm not going to hit the back correctly. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that this is perfectly square. How I do that is I'll raise that back up again a little bit. I think that's going to be pretty good. Yeah, the square's sliding under there. It comes with a couple of pins that you can put in here and here. There's holes all the way along there. I can use any of them, but for the moment I'm going to use those. Now I can push that up to there, and this is how I had it set before. I knew it was a little bit out. See that movement? That's no good. So I need to move the track that way at this end till it's square. So how I'm going to do this is I will lift this up out of the way to start. I'm going to release this and the clamp here. So release that and the clamp, and that means I can pull that back. I can pull that back away from them. This is a stop. So I will undo that. I do it uptight on purpose. Now I'm going to slide the stop back in position. I'll drop the guy back down here, and I'm going to drop it into, see it drops into there's a slot under here. See that slot? Lines up with this pin up here. I'm going to bring that up to there until it's perfect. And now I'm going to clamp it. Okay. Slight rocking there. Gone too far. Come back ever so much. Just a slight bit. No rocking. That is perfectly square. So now I will lift this back up again, and I will tighten this one up. And now I'm going to bring this one back, and this one now is my permanent stop. You might be able to see it on the other camera. So I can now tighten that up. Every time now I release this and this and bring it back, it's coming back perfectly to square. This will happen on all MFT3s as well as this. So now I can move that back, drop this back down again, raise this up so it collects, put this piece of timber under there because that's the one that I'm going to cut in a second, push it down till it connects with it, lock that. I'm now going to check that it's still square. That is absolutely beautiful. Done. That is square. All right. Now that I've got all that done, I will turn on my dust extractor. A little noise. That was my first cut. I'm going to do a test. I'm going to turn the board over, straight over. Now I know this board is parallel. I've measured it. It's exactly the same width. Drop the track again. Now I'm going to measure either end with the calipers. I already have the calipers here. Let's go to inches, thousandths of an inch. Let's see what the result is. 1.565, 1.565. That is the most accurate that I've ever had this table. A simple thing, a very simple thing to do. It is a fantastic square. It's very, very versatile. I don't know of any other square that's going to be more versatile than this little guy is. And coming out of the same stable as the GRS16, you know it's going to be bloody spot on. If you like what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel down there, click that button, ring that bell. I will see you next time. Bye for now. See ya.